What celebrities have you had partying at Ocean Beach?
People are always fascinated about that, aren't they? But, the biggest ones that's ever been there really is Ed Sheeran, bar none.
What was the vibe like when Conor McGregor turned up?
Incredible. And the management called us up and he wants to come through the front door. And he literally, it was like him doing the ring walk. We had one of our biggest ever spenders in there and he wanted a photo with Conor. You know, everyone wants a photo of Conor. I probably can't get you it. He said, how about if I buy him the biggest and the most expensive bottle of champagne in the club? I said, that should swing it.
What's your relationship like with Tony Pike?
Proper legend, another sort of inspiration to me, Tony. And I remember when we took him into the old people's home up the road, he was like, Tony, can you get me a bird up here? Can you get me a Viagra and everything like that? Not me and Tam, we took him some Viagras and a bird up there, yeah. We got him a lady of the night, should we say, right? And the next day when we went up there, the people from the home was like, don't you ever bring them girls in here again.
True, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, mate. Glad for having me back.
Yeah, mate.
About 3 odd years ago, I've done something with you.
That's when we first started.
Yeah,
and look where we are now. Beautiful Ibiza. Look at this setting.
Bit more illustrious setting, I would say, than a studio in Bournemouth. And congratulations on yourself.
Thank you very much,
mate. Has gone.
Very much. Thank you, mate. Let's roll all the way back, True. When's the first time you came to Ibiza?
First time was August 1983. I remember it very specifically, because I was a schoolboy at the time and I wanted to come out here because of the WHAM video, Club Tropicana. That was the thing, really, that video, and George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley in Pikes and at Coup Club and everything. I was like, wow, look at that place. I want to go there. Yeah. Mum, please take me there on holiday.
Yeah. And when did you first start throwing parties back in England?
That summer.
Okay.
That was the August that I came here, and I'd been kicked out of school in February, March time, and I wanted to go to my end of year school party, and which was happening in June, July period, and I'd just done my first boat party at 15 years of age then. So it was really, but even though I'd done that boat party, I had no idea that I was going to come out here and start becoming a party promoter on the back of it. I was just purely going because of my sort of teenage, I was going to say teenage fantasy then, but I shouldn't really say that about WHAM boys, should I?
So you've been done roughly 40 years of throwing parties across all sorts of places, across loads of parties in London, around the UK. Where else have you thrown parties before you actually came over to Ibiza?
Just the UK and the Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
Gran Canaria, Tenerife. They've predominantly just been there really because I spent quite a few years in Gran Canaria. That was more so than Ibiza. That was my training ground, I would say, you know, starting there, working on the streets, dragging people in bars and things. But doing the parties in the UK, that's what sort of really sort of made my True's Do's brand become what it was and become well known for that. You know, but like I say, all those parties back then from the riverboat on the Thames to the local youth club, goddamn youth club discos. Even then, I didn't even realise I was a promoter. Yeah. You know, the youth club, we was putting on parties in there, but it was just inviting all our mates from school. And obviously, they weren't even like club nights. They were discos. Yeah. They were like ska music at the time, Madness, the Specials, and then all, it became Spandau Ballet and things like that. How the sort of genres of music and fashion sort of changed through the 80s. And it's quite mad, actually, how popular 80s parties are still to this day now, aren't they? Some big nights.
Tell us about some more parties you've done with True's Do's. Tell me about Legoland.
Legoland, I would say, was one of the pinnacles, definitely, in my career. That one, that was in 2002. But that was a long journey to get to somewhere like Legoland, because when you're starting off, you have got to start off in those school huts, rugby huts, marquees in fields and things like with generators packing up and, and the silly licensing laws. And I think they're all the things on your journey that sort of make it great in a way. Obviously, doing somewhere like Legoland was amazing and, something as a young boy I'd never have dreamed of doing. But I think, like say, doing all those places in, where it's all spit and sawdust, should I say. I remember some of my first parties were like £5, £10, drink what you want.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing bad taste parties in like a rugby club and stuff. And then sort of going through, and as they get bigger and bigger, your following gets bigger and bigger. But I think sort of to do the stuff that I eventually ended up doing, I think that was all down to my journey in the Canaries and coming out here on holiday and things like that. Because when you're sort of brought up in your hometown, as you well know from doing parties yourself, you only meet people in your area. But when you come and work abroad, you're opening yourself up to a whole different demographic. Suddenly I was meeting people from Leeds, from Wigan, from Grimsby, from Norwich, from Penzance, from Bournemouth, from everywhere. And suddenly you meet all these people when working abroad and as fellow co-workers or as tourists. So I was always very good at sort of collecting names and databases. Because there was no mobile phones then.
Everyone you meet is a contact.
Everyone you meet there's no social media.
That's right.
It was literally old school.
Writing them down
and keeping
them.
Big database. My mates used to call me when they were doing parties, can I borrow your database? No, it's taken me years and years to build this up, you know. Yeah. So my little black book.
Give me some other parties. Because the thing is, they all talk about the journey, but it's who you become on the journey.
Yeah.
How have you changed over the years to where you are now, over 40 years of partying?
Me as a person?
Yeah.
I like to say I'm pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I know probably most people would want to say that about themselves. I think I still knock about the same people I grew up with. I think that's a big sort of test of who someone is. Yeah. I'm still like very close with all my family, all my best friends. You know, I've had a lot of my best friends in business, in partnership and everything like that. I've wanted to take a lot of my friends on the journey with me. That's always been very important. I think me as a character, I still love a party. I still love going out, still love a crack, still love all the girls, still love all the boys, still love, you know. So I think in that respect, and I think I've still never done it for the money motivation. Yeah. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. I think when some people become successful, money can change people. I hope I haven't changed a little bit.
You ain't changed a bit.
I'm sure some of my pals will say, oh yeah, you have. You didn't used to do that. I said, maybe if anything, my choice in where I stay when I go on holidays come a bit more luxurious and the way I travel and everything. But apart from that, no, I think I'm still the same person.
Some journey you've been on, True. Some journey.
It's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster, isn't it?
It's a roller coaster.
I'm the generation below you, and both of us have been throwing parties for 25, 30 years, 40 years. It's been, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Don't you just love people?
I just love people.
I love people, same.
It's funny, when a lot of people say to me each year, what are you looking forward to the most about this season? And every year I say the same thing, meeting new people.
New people, yeah.
And it's really...
It's a gift.
I've got a bit of a protege in my godson, Tommy. Tommy's doing his little parties, Massy Mass. And it's really funny. From the age of 16, he said to his dad said, what do you want to do when you're older? He said, I want to be Tony Truman. So he's always said that. So I said, right, Tom, when you're 18, come and start doing some parties. And it's lovely to watch his journey now and sort of advise him what I, from my mistakes and things like that.
How old were you when you started to realise you've actually broke the back of this whole promoter thing?
I would say when I'd done a party when I was 24. I had a wine bar at the time in Kingston. Do you remember it? Yep. Cobbler's Wine Bar. Yeah. Had that for a couple of years.
From Old Man's place, Bishop's.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Yeah, just round the corner from your dad's place. Yep. And then we had the wine bar, which was so popular. And my business partner was a guy called Tony Levan. Do you remember Tony? Yep. Tony was a generation above me, sort of thing. So he was more into all the big sort of clubs in town, going out with your boy Georges and all people like that and everything in a very cool sort of circuit, where I was more still in that local town mentality. So me and Tony became partners. And I said to Tony, why don't we do a party together? So we went to Surbiton Golf Club. We hired this massive, great big field, put on this massive, great big like marquee and party. It was called A Breath of Fresh Air. Me and Tony were both immortalised as Roman Greek statues, naked as flyers and everything. And the morning of the party, the police raided both our houses, dragged us out of bed and everything like that. Thought we was putting on a party for the gay community at the time. Thought we were drug dealers and everything. We were like, we're joking, we're party promoters. Why are we drug dealers and everything? And we put this party on and it was unbelievable. I think it was the first party in our area of where we lived that anyone had ever done as like a proper big sort of rave, really. And literally thousands of people turned up. We had a fantastic old school lineup and everything. And for me, that really sort of took my parties from that, let's say, village hut rugby club, football club, disco into like sort of the mainstream really. And that's where I thought, oh, that's a big big turning point. And I could see with the production, everything that we were doing, we hired all the props from Shepperton Studios, and it was just a mad day out. You know, it was like, you know, you're governed by local licensing laws. And this came back to haunt me actually, because the day of the party, the guy from the local Elmbridge Council came across the field with his little music monitor saying about the decibels. I literally pulled it out of his hand, threw it across the field and said, you can stick that up your ass. We're cracking right on the day. Anyway, subsequently, this guy turned out to be the chief licensing officer for Elmbridge for about 30 years. So later on in life, when I tried to get my bars open in Surrey, no, that man, Tony Truman, is not having a license or anything.
So throwing all these parties through, England, London, all over the place, when was the point when you said, you know what, I need to be doing this full time in Ibiza?
2000, the year 2000, I had a disaster millennium, like a lot of people, but that wasn't sort of due to my own fault really. Well, it was in a way, I suppose. Can't blame anyone else. I was having a party Millennium Eve at my house. I had this great big mansion at the time.
Whereabouts?
The brothel, we called it, in Esher, Surrey. Great big mansion. My mate had given me, he wanted to get planning permission on this house to build a load of houses. The council wouldn't give it to him. So he said, True, go and live in there for 2 years and party your socks off. So that's what I'd done. He got planning permission like that. They couldn't wait to kick us out and let him build all the houses. So I was having a party there, but that Millennium Eve actually. And the local council and the police cancelled it 4 or 5 days before the party. So it was a real testing time. And
all tickets pre-sold?
All the tickets were pre-sold.
Oh, mate.
I spent all the money on marquees, on drink, on sound systems.
Why'd they cancel it?
Because even though everyone man and his dog was having a Millennium party, they said what I was doing, a party for 2,000 people in a house, an all night, literally, because it was a 2,000-minute party, whatever that turned into, like a 2-day party. They just weren't tolerating it. So they cancelled it right before. It nearly broke me. It did break me financially. I had a sunbed shop beauty business at the time, so I had to sell that to my family to bail me out of debt. Oh, and that's another thing, you know, on this journey, on this roller coaster. The money, everyone thinks you make loads of money, but when you're younger, it's just, you know, you've been there, you lose. Put your hand out. I'm so lucky my mum helped me out all the way along. She's been absolutely amazing.
Your mum's been an absolute rock to you, hasn't she?
An absolute
massive
rock.
shout out to your mum.
But I think the biggest thing for me for Ibiza was when I started, I was coming out here and I was doing a few villa parties. Me and all the guys were just coming out here on holiday, having a crack, getting loads of girls out, back to the, you know, from the clubs and everything, having all day villa parties and stuff like that. And I thought, well, this is a good little thing. I know a lot of people who come to Ibiza. So we started doing more and more villa parties. And then a friend of mine, Aaron, had a villa business called Exclusive World, and he was doing pretty well out of it, but the management side of the business would say that it was a little bit precarious. So I approached Aaron and I said, listen, do you want me to come involved with you in business? And his friend Glenn was running it at the time. And I said, I'll bring all the parties in. I said, you've got all the villas, I've got all the party followers. Let's amalgamate and create like a business together where we're just renting out villas and doing parties in them. So that's what we've done for a couple of years. Lovely. And we built that up. And that's where Legoland came about. We sort of started doing exclusive world parties and we hired Legoland, and which happened to be the hottest day of the year, 1 July, I think it's 2001, 2002. And that was huge catalyst for not only the Trues Do's exclusive world, but me as a person, because Aaron and a couple of Aaron's partners knew a lot of people as well, and all their friends, all my friends, we all come together as one, really. So that was the real big turn.
And the press you got off the back over it, Leg Overland.
Yeah, Leg Overland. Perfect. I've still got the press cutting in my office and everything, yeah.
Where did the brainchild come to create Ocean Beach Club, now O Beach Club?
Well, that came quite a few years later, actually, because I had a real rough time just after sort of round about the Legoland. So just before Legoland, my house had burnt down and everything, because I'd just been partying. Hold on a minute, your house burnt down? Yeah, it was just prior to this whole villa thing and the Ibiza business coming about, and I've been doing the Millennium Eve. I had such bad luck straight on the back of Millennium Eve. So I moved out of the mansion once my mate got planning permission on it, and I moved into another house, and I just cracked on having parties there. And then my house burnt down. I had a house in Claygate in Surrey, and we'd been to a big party in town, all come back to my house, and my house burnt down, and a girlfriend of mine died in the house that night. She literally died in my arms as I was trying to save her. She literally, the backdraft blew me across the room. I managed to get 3 or 4 of the other people out the house. And that for me was the biggest thing that's ever happened in my life. Of course, when you have someone who loses their life, it's like, wow, oh my God, you know, I don't want to get too deep or too emotional on it. But for me as a person, as a businessman, as my life and my journey, I suddenly thought, all I'm doing is partying. Literally, I haven't stopped for like 20 years of partying. I need to sort my life out and get some purpose and everything. And on the back of like Hayley dying and the inquest and everything from that, and me being nearly dying myself, I was in hospital, and then they brought my mum in, and my mum didn't even recognise me. She said, "That's not my son." So I was that far. The anaesthetist said I was literally minutes away from dying myself. So when I came out of that, and I came out of like intensive care, I realised I've got to sort my life out. You know, I couldn't even speak for a couple of months because of the smoke inhalation. I needed to really get my life in order. And I thought, right, okay, the only thing I know is how to do parties. I've got to turn that into a proper career. I didn't know how to use a computer. It was a time when there was no social media. People had just started using PCs. So I thought, went and enrolled on a PC learning course, and I'd done that. And on the back of that, that's when I approached Aaron and Glenn about going involved with Exclusive World and True's Do's amalgamation. So it was a big, big thing of like, right.
That's a proper wake-up call, isn't it?
Of course. I was 32, 33 years of age. I was just partying, just to have the crack. I thought, I've got to turn this into something, otherwise I'm soon going to end up in life with nothing really. And I see a lot of my peers around me, my mates who are grown up, obviously gone all through their 20s. They didn't have the life that I was having, partying. They'd all got proper jobs working for computer companies. But suddenly all my mates had houses, had nice cars, girlfriends, families, going on holidays, and there was me still cracking on, me and my mate Pino without a pot of piss in. So it's like, you've got to wise up at some point in your life, haven't you?
So what was that turning point then?
That was the turning point when I were enrolled on that course. And I thought, right, I've got to get my nut down and work. I've got to get my nut down and work. So I really went into this villa business. I really went into this party business. And on the back of it, me and Aaron sort of had parting of companies for one reason or another. And then I just sort of said, right, that's it. I am going to turn True's Do's, True Pro, my corporate business, into a full-time business. Good. On the back of that, I met Charlie. I met Dean Gaffney, actually. I met Dean, and Dean became one of my best mates, and Dean sort of started introducing me to a lot of people in TV and things like that, and introduced me to Charlie. And then I settled down with Charlie and had a child. Did you
get married to Charlie?
No, I didn't get married. We got engaged. They always say, look at the mother before you get married. So sorry, Ro, I do love you, but, I love you, Charlie, as well. So, in that period of time, Charlie she still is a massive, massive influence on my life.
And she was a big face at EastEnders at the time.
She was a big face at EastEnders. She was really brought me down, made me a lot more grounded, made me a lot more truthful as a person, and a lot more, be honest with what I'm doing, be more honest with myself. And she's still one of my best friends.
Yeah, lovely.
In life today.
Lovely.
So with that, I started moving into the corporate sector. I thought, right, okay, where is the money in this? I had a lot of people come into my events who work for blue chip companies and in various, TV and production and stuff like that. And they said, True, can you organise my party? Can you do this? And then I got offered to do the MOBO Awards. So I started doing the MOBO Awards. Then I started doing the Soap Awards after party. Then I done the National TV Awards after parties. I was doing like corporate parties for big blue chip clients and everything. And I built that business up pretty well over a number of years. And I was doing a lot of really good stuff. But the trouble is, I'm not a corporate person.
No, I was just about to say that corporate world puts me off straight away.
Puts you off,
cringe, isn't it? I know.
And I'm just not corporate. I'm, fuck this, fuck that. I don't give a shit about that. Where's the cash? I'm old school.
Yeah, mate.
They wanted all these contracts. I said, my contract's my handshake. And things like that.
I would pay you in a month's time. And
also getting bossed. I suddenly felt I was getting bossed about. And I've never really wanted to be one who gets bossed about. And, I like listening and taking on constructive criticism, but I've always sort of been my own person in that regards.
Ibiza. Talk to me about Ibiza.
So then this is how it all fell in. That's how it all fell into Ibiza. So on the back of the villa parties, Ibiza became more and more prominent with the big parties that we were doing here, the villa company and the parties at home. And then well, one of my good friends said, should we do some parties in Marbella? Because Marbella sort of came about for the big parties before Ibiza. And so
rough year we're talking here?
What year was this? Well, Kiki was just born. So it was 2004.
Okay.
2004. And we went over there. My friend Tony Wheelchair had been doing a little club night out there. And he said, True, come out here. Let's do some parties. So we found a massive big villa out there. Apparently the old Hugh Hefner European Playboy mansion. So we went and done like a great
That's more like it, True.
Yeah, back to what I know. Forget the corporate stuff.
Yeah.
Sod that. And so we done a massive party. I think that first year we took about 700 people over there. And through the week we done various parties at club nights, beach parties. We've done Nikki Beach and done the Silks Beach and places like that. And our friend had just literally got Ocean Club in Marbella, but he didn't know what to do with it. A guy called Peter, and me and Tony were talking to him and saying, do this, do that. And we'll come in and be some promoters there if you like and do a party. So we were one of the first big sort of British promoters to go in there and sort of doing parties at Ocean Club in Marbella. Mm-hmm. So that's all that come about. Then the following year, we said, right, let's do this even bigger. Even though I was still doing the villas and the smaller parties in Ibiza, suddenly this big summer trip to Marbella had become a real thing from London and the home counties and the rest of the country and everything. So I think the following year, me and Tony took about 1,500 people out there, hired a whole hotel, started hiring planes and everything like that. So it's suddenly become really massive just in its second season. We've done that again, done more parties at Ocean Club there. And then I met Wayne. Yep. I met Wayne. We were going to Lineker's.
Did you know Wayne before you come over?
We knew of each other.
Yeah, okay.
We knew of each other. He'd heard of my name. I'd have heard of his name. Even though I'd been in Tenerife, Wayne came to Tenerife after me and started his Lineker's brand. So we didn't. But just literally, I was out on the piss with Brandon Block. Yeah. Brandon very well. Me and Brandon were on a bit of a mission that night. And we went to Lineker's and we met Wayne, and we was like, Wayne, come on, you need to come to Ibiza. You need to do Lineker's in Ibiza. And Wayne was like, oh, yeah, can you get a venue? I went, yeah, of course I can. So that was why I said, right, well, after this summer's over, I'm going to go back to Ibiza and I'll find us a venue. The following year, we went back and we done our third year down in Marbella of the Players Pool Party. Took over literally a couple of thousand people. It was absolutely manic. Really, took over the port and everything. But I love Marbella, but the people of Marbella weren't really the Ibiza party people. It was all a lot more blingy, a lot more show-offy about the cars, the watches and stuff like that. And where Ibiza's not about that. And I missed that. And I thought, well, I've got to take this back to Ibiza. Yeah. So I went back there, I found a bar. I called up Wayne. So Wayne came over. I said, come and have a look at this. So the site that we've currently got there in San Antonio.
What, the Lineker's bar there?
Lineker's there, right on the seafront. Yeah. So literally, we opened up the following season. We opened up Lineker's.
And did you go in with him?
Yeah, me and Wayne, we're still partners in Lineker's. Yeah, we're still partners. Tony Wheelchair, Brandon was a partner at first. But Brand went skint after 1 year and sold his share really cheap. Regretted it every day. He still rings me today and says, I'm gutted I lost that share in there. I told him not to sell it, but hey, that's Brandon.
Tell me about Wheelchair Tony. His name pops up everywhere. I want to know a little bit more about him.
Me and Tony have been friends for years and years. And me and Tony started off doing the parties together and everything. And then Tony's always done well, he's always been like life and soul of the party and everything. So he was my business partner. He was the one we started this off together. And Tony's always had a bit of money wrapped around him. So, I've always been a bit skint and everything. So Tony used to help out with the finances and I used to organise it all and put bums on seats, I believe in every partnership, everyone's got to bring something to the table. Yeah. So that was the early sort of formation of mine and Tony's partnership. So after that night, I went back to the apartment we were staying in. I said to Tone, we're going to go into business with Wayne Lineker. We're going to open O Beach. We're going to open up Lineker's in Ibiza. I said, I'd like you to be my partner. And Tony was over the moon about it. He said, thanks, Tone. So that's what happened. Lovely. We just went into partnership ever since.
Lovely. And from there, when you were on the island of Ibiza, where did you see the opportunity when you saw that massive car park on the beach?
Yeah, well, me and my mum had actually found that. We'd been walking after the success of like what we had done in Marbella with the Ocean Club down there, and suddenly Ocean Club in Marbella had really, really come to place. And the guy that we originally had it, Peter, we actually went to him on that third season of us doing parties there, and said to him, you know, Pete, we would like to, you know, get more involved in this. We've helped you build this, and he said, guys, I've just sold it. He said, I've just sold it. He paid silly money for it, really cheap, sold it for amazing money. Me and Tony thought he was going to bung us a few quid because we'd made the guy quite a few million. Yeah. There was no retaining of ownership or anything, so he didn't give us a penny, which we were gutted about. We went to the new owners and said, can we carry on doing parties? And they said, no, we don't want to work with the British. So we were like, fuck you. This is our time to get out of Marbella. Let's get back to Ibiza, and I'm going to find us somewhere to do Ocean Club out there. So that was it. So even though the following year we opened Ocean Club, I was still had in my mind, as we opened Lineker's, I still had in my mind, I want to open an Ocean Club and I'm going to find that place.
Amazing.
So, but on the success of the Lineker's first year, talk out, getting carried away with yourself, we suddenly thought, because we smashed it that first year of Lineker's, we really, really did kill it. We were like, wow. Suddenly we all had some decent money in our pocket and everything, and you get a bit carried away with yourself. And we thought we were Charlie Big Potatoes, cracked it after one season in Ibiza. Fucking what a bunch of muppets we were thinking that. And so I got offered this nightclub just round the corner. Very famous old nightclub called Ecstasis. Used to be one of the original sort of late night after party clubs from back in the day, from out here in the 80s and everything. So we got offered that. I went in and looked at it, fell in love with it. And I said to the boys, should we do it? And we didn't really have enough money because all of our money had gone into Lineker's. So I went to a few other pals. Everyone chipped in like 50 grand, about 10 of us or something like that. A couple of people put in 100 grand. And we opened up, but we opened so late, Dodge. We opened so late. Anyone who's...
What, in the season? Or
you know, and in hindsight, I'll never make this mistake again, you know, and it is all about learning from your mistakes. And this was a big, big mistake. We suddenly thought we were riding on the crest of the wave. But when you get a business, offered a business so late in the season, especially somewhere like Ibiza, all the work for all the Ibiza bars, clubs, hotels, is done in the winter.
Yep.
It's done in the winter. So the time you open up in April or May, you hit the ground running. You've got your artists, you've got your lineup, you've got your promotion. We got this club in March. We had to turn it around to refurbish it. We run out of money straight away like anything. Yep. You start off with something at £10, it costs you £20, right? So literally, but this was on a bigger scale. Straight away, we were $500,000 in the hole. None of us had the reserves, deep enough pockets to fund it. We got the club open late June. So we would lost some
couple of months,
key early season promotion, or mid-June we got it open. So straight away, so we only had one good night there, one at that first season. One good night is not enough money to sustain like a business in Ibiza. You need to lead 2 super good nights, then 2 or 3 sort of half decent nights. Us just having that Saturday night with Swankies. And be honest, we knew we were losing. We knew it was going to go down the pan after about a month. We was all like, talk about deflated egos. So what we all done? We just got smashed all the time and drunk all the drink, drunk all the profits, all partied our socks off. Everyone had their hand in everything. It was an absolute fucking disaster, right? And because it was my idea, of course, I got the brunt of it. I got all the verbal abuse. I got all the falling out with my mates over it.
How many? So you said there's 10 fellows involved in that.
10 of us.
Out of those 10, how many did you fall out with? Roughly,
probably all of them.
The lot, is it? Was the pressure on your shoulders, right?
It was on my shoulder. It was on my shoulders, really. I called it on. But everyone else had seen the success of Lineker's. We want a bit of that. We want a bit of that. And I think when you go into business, you go in to win or lose. Yeah. Right. Of course, no one wants to go in to lose, but that's nature of a business. Yeah. You know, really, you shouldn't go into business if you can't afford to lose the money in the first place. You know, and at that time, I wasn't a good businessman, not saying I'm a good one now, but I was young and naive and I was still learning and everything like that. And I made some stupid mistakes like borrowing off Peter to pay Paul and juggling money and juggling my partner's money and things like that, you know. But I was only doing it to try and keep the business alive and everything, really. And
how much pressure did you find on your shoulders at this time?
That was probably another one of my worst times. Okay. And dealing with that pressure and dealing with angry mates, angry mates. But in a way, I can't blame them. Yeah. I'm not knocking them for it. We're all perfect friends now.
Yeah.
It's just the thing. I think they all realised as well, you know, when you look back at business and you look at how sort of business models are, you can't go in, and any people I give advice to now about business, you've got to have deep enough pockets to sustain a business. Well, back then I used to think it was 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Now, realistically, it's 5 years.
5, 7.
It's 5. You know, I think it's 5 years. Yeah. Really, if you can afford losses, or hopefully you can break even after 3 years.
Yeah. That's very difficult to break even. I always call it the 1,000-day mark. Yeah. So if you can break even after 1,000 days, you have got some brilliant business model. Yeah. But like we're saying, 5 years, 6 years. But as we get older, we're constantly looking at going, we've got to be going 10. Yeah. You know, only 5% of businesses get past 10 years.
Really? Yeah, is that all? Is that the statistic?
That's the stat. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
So anyone who's gone past 10 are absolutely smashing it.
Wow. Well, we'd seen, I think what had happened with us, we'd had that 1 year success with Lineker's. Yeah. And it really was a success.
And you thought we can do this every we touch.
1 to 100 like that in 4 or 5 months and everything. And I think all our mates were close to us at the time, could see that, thought, oh my God, these guys have cracked it and everything. So that's why they all wanted to put in and everything like that.
Your second year of Lineker's, how did that go? Third year Lineker's?
Even better.
Even better. So it's smashing it.
Even better. But it was that second year was when we had Boho. Yeah. So it was, even the Lineker's was smashing it. It was very hard because we had a club that was doing really bad. Yeah. So all the money that came out of Lineker's went into propping up Boho, and then we realised we lost it at the end of that summer. And then at the end of that summer, I had found the site, which was eventually going to be Ocean Club. And so, of course, everyone was really pissed off. Everyone was angry with me. And I said, hey, guys, I found somewhere else. They're like, fuck off, Drew. Leave it out.
Leave it, not
only you. Like, we've all just done our bollocks. And you want to raise 3 million quid to do a massive big beach club. Yeah. And I said, listen, you got to have cojones grandies. You've got to have big balls, haven't you? And that's how that sort of happened. It rolled into that. But I actually didn't tell them straight away. I found the site and I looked at it, and I went in to speak to the owner. Because it wasn't like it is now, of course.
No,
it was just a giant car park, a derelict old restaurant, 2 derelict old restaurants, in fact. And it was just like all overgrown. You couldn't see it from the paseo, from the pathway or anything. It was really like... it was actually, thinking about it, well, it was a great bit of vision, really.
Yeah, amazing vision.
When I actually think back. But even then, I don't think I had that vision that it's actually turned into what it is now.
But what we're saying is the journey, how you've improved on the journey, improved. All of a sudden, you know something's going to pop and you think, this is the one. How long did that take for seeing it to actually opening the doors?
I'd say seeing it that first time with my mum, walking past and me climbing up on the wall and looking over to opening the doors, I would say 2 years.
Okay.
And for the first, 9 months, I didn't sort of tell my partners on it because, like I say, I went in there and there was a Spanish guy in there who subsequently turned out to be one of the family who actually owns the freehold of the land. And I said, oh, I want this place. He was like, no, he could hardly speak any English. And then I went back to my Spanish fairy godfather, who's massively helped me, who's been my biggest inspiration out here over the last...
What's his name?
Vicente Juan.
Okay.
And I'm very lucky I've got this relationship with this very, very powerful, influential Spanish guy. And I went to him at the time. I was renting his house at that time. And I said, I found this place. And he said, of course, I know the family. I've grown up with them.
Days.
I said, get me it. Vicente, please get me this place. He said, Tony, tranquilo. He said, the Spanish don't like being pushed. They don't like being forced or anything like that. He said, leave it with me. He said, I'll get it. And I was like, yeah. So this had gone on for about 9 months. And myself and the guys had actually found another whole load of commercial units in Playa de Bossa, just where the new Ushuaia was about to open. And we'd just done a deal. We was going to put Lineker's. We was going to put a series of other bars over in Playa de Bossa.
Okay.
And literally, the day we went there to finalise the deal with the guy in Playa de Bossa, we're sitting there in the restaurant. There's me, Dwayne. I think Wayne. It was just me, Dwayne, Wayne, and Tony.
And Dwayne is?
Dwayne's Wayne's son.
Okay.
Right, he's my business partner. Who, me and myself and him operate the business together. And we were sitting there. My phone rang, and it's Vicente Juan. And he said, Tony, he said, can you talk? I said, yeah. He said, I can do a deal on the place in you want in San Antonio. He said, come and see me as soon as you can. So I said to the guys, this guy, we were sitting with this Spanish guy who's been messing us about, trying to up the money, literally at the 12th hour as we're about to sign. I said, guys, forget this deal. I said, forget it. I said, guys, let's walk away. So we all got up from the table. Dwayne, Tony and Wayne were like, what's going on? I said, I just had a call from Vicente.
Quality.
I said, the place in San Antonio. They went, what place? I said, let me take you. So we went down to San Antonio. I took them down and literally we climbed over the wall and they were like, are you fucking joking? I said, this is what I've been secretly working on behind the scenes. And I've got videos of me and Dwayne climbing over the fence, literally going upstairs, I said, that's going to be the pool. That's going to be the bar. This is going to be that and everything. And we were like, wow, but it's not big enough. We need next door as well because it was divided in two.
What was next door?
Next door was just where the VIP is now. That was just all the big car park. Okay. That part was the car park. We sort of then realised we need all of it.
Did you buy the freehold or leasehold?
No. Spanish don't sell freehold with coastal lands.
How many years did they give you?
They gave us 10 plus 5 to start with.
Yeah.
And then
10 after 10, renegotiate
10, and
plus
it's an
5.
automatic extension to 5 if you want to take it.
On a renegotiation of the price?
It goes up index linked.
Okay.
It's usually index linked. Our landlords are amazing. We've just renewed it for another 10, 15 years. They're great.
Fantastic.
They're really, really great and everything. You know, probably the best landlords.
Who designed it? Who did you design it with?
I designed the initial layout of what I wanted and how I saw it and everything. Then a friend of ours, Eric, has got an amazing landscape company out here and garden design company. We got put in touch with Eric. So then Eric came up with a bit of a master plan. He actually shifted the entrance from where I had originally designed it. You know, I had a lot of ideas and concepts in my head what we wanted. Dwayne did as well. Dwayne had a big input on it, but literally between the three of us, we designed it down to a T and everything.
Fantastic.
Which was amazing because I'd never done something of that magnitude. But over the years and all my trues, do's and my corporate events, I knew our flow of a business.
Mate, you got a good attention to detail and you got a great vision. You got a creative mind.
And I still design and come up with all the things now.
Absolutely brilliant. How much did it cost to open the doors? All in.
Well, we thought it was gonna cost 2 million, 2 or 3 million.
Euro.
3 million. Sorry, I think we had 3 million in our head, but we didn't have that money. We had about €1.5 million ourselves at the time to invest, and we thought we'd borrow some off the bank. I went to loads of people. I went to footballers, people like Rio Ferdinand, Michael Carrick, everyone I knew. Me and Wayne travelled the country trying to get people to invest in it, mates. But I think the reputation of what had happened with Boho had preceded us and stuff like that. And we're literally, nah, we don't want this, we don't want so. And then someone very powerful out here was due to invest. I'm not going to mention names and be our business partners from the start. But then literally on the day we went to sign, he tried to have us over massively.
How?
He was getting a 30% deal on it. He was getting a 30% deal. And then the day we went to the lawyers, he said, I'm not going to sign unless I've got 50%.
You're joking me.
So
50% shares?
Shares, literally on the day. So I was in another scenario of fuck you.
See you later.
Fuck you. So I went back to my fairy godfather, told him what had happened, and he bailed us out and helped us out. He said, I'll invest the money. I'll lend you the money, Tony. We was about to lose it. We was that far away from losing it. Again, because we had to pay the monies to secure the premises, get the builders started to get it open for the following season. So we got royally fucked over at the last minute there.
But there's a positive come out of it, right?
But again, you know, I'm a great believer in fate. If we had actually gone on and actually gone into business,
you might have fallen out of him.
with that group at the time, we probably might not be in the situation we are today. So I'm a great believer in fate. And then that first year again, we, due to lack of money, lack of funds, difficulty, the stress me and Dwayne were under in that building it through, dealing with Spanish builders. I couldn't speak Spanish. Dwayne could only speak a tiny bit of Spanish. Suddenly trying to converse with people about concrete and steel and everything. Oh my God, as well as put everything together. And we didn't get open until late June again.
Yeah.
So again,
you missed that
we missed out on 2 key months. But when we opened that door in June and it looked amazing, I did know it was going to work.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to work, even though that season we lost again money. So suddenly going from, you know, a couple of million deficit, we was in a big hole.
Yeah.
Again, I thought, Jesus, not the same scenario as Boho. So it was real touch and go again. So we had to go and find an investor again.
Did you?
And so that.
How much did you need on that second lot?
That second lot, we needed a couple of million.
Wow.
Yeah, we needed a couple of million. But at least we had a product.
Yeah.
We had a product
that they could actually visually see.
People could see. Yeah. People liked it. And there was people out there. Again, we went to a number of investors and they didn't want to know and everything like that. Those guys are kicking themselves now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even one of my best mates, I asked him for like a couple of $100,000 at the time, and he's absolutely distraught with himself now that he never put that money in. But hey ho, you never know.
When you're sitting there doing your sums, going, how long do you reckon it would take to break even? When you were there, you're going, well, I think, lads, I'm selling it into you. You're going to buy shares into this company. It's going to break even after year 2, year 3, year 4. What were you thinking at the
3
time?
years.
3 years.
Yeah, I think BOO had taught us a lesson. Some other businesses had taught us a lesson. The naivety of it, of actually thinking. I think 3 years was our break-even target, which, if you're going to an investor, is a fair pitch.
Take that, of course.
It's a fair pitch, And we'd taken some much better financial advice ourselves. Dwayne was amazing. Dwayne learned everything so fast.
How old is Dwayne?
Dwayne is 40, and actually next week, I think. 40
Bang on the ball?
Bang on the ball.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What that young guy's learned in the last 20 years since I first met him is incredible. Credit to him. He really is. He leads the company for us now in such a fantastic, honest and great leadership way. It's like, we always say he's the spreadsheet, I'm the dance floor. Yeah. He's become more than that now. He really is an incredible businessman. Credit to him.
For the listener out there, explain what O Beach looks like, feels like, the whole vibe.
We bring the party. That's what I just say. You've got other beach clubs which are really great or a lot more food led. And I say this about us going into Dubai and everything, and people asking about the Dubai business. What is the difference between O Beach and all these 200 other beach clubs? Is we're not about the superstar DJ. We're about the vibe. Yeah. We really, really are about the vibe. We're about the show. We're about the performance, and we're about the staff. The staff, I think so many people really overlook the staff in businesses. I do sort of go on about it quite a lot, but they're your first people that the customers meet. You've got to have a happy team. If you've got a happy team and a team that are all like a family, all pulling together, it really, really resonates with all the customers. And I think that's one of our biggest things, or one of our biggest qualities. And I'm very hands-on. I literally go around the country, go around Europe, hand-picking these people. And it's such a...
tough job, mate.
It's a tough job. It's a tough job.
Old Truman's in Glasgow, old Truman's in Liverpool.
I feel like Simon Cowell sometimes, But it's something like, and I think also...
But that comes down to your attention to detail again.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you've got the owner of the company actually talking to them, they're getting a job off the owner, if they have sort of different level of... I don't know what it is, respect. Like the fact that they're working for someone, they're not just get employed by someone in HR, and they come as just a number statistic.
So going back on the club then, so people can really understand, you open at what time, close at what time, you've got a dance floor, there's a pool there, there's loads of beds. Explain so they can get a visual.
It's very much like a daytime into nighttime concept. Good thing about our club, 60-70% of it, I don't know any club actually in the world where there are so many tables are booked by women. Yeah. Right? Fantastic. It's literally unbelievable how many women come to that place and book. Yeah. When you go to other places, you don't see the gangs and gangs of girls like we get, whether they're hen parties, whether they're Tracy from Rochdale or they're whoever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. We've just got that sort of reputation of the club being packed out with girls. We always say we're here to celebrate music, not educate. Yeah. It's a fun environment. It's party, hands in the air, dance around your handbags. And someone told me a very, very interesting statistic the other day. I think Ocean Beach opened on the back of that explosion of social media. Yeah. It was that sort of second year Instagram came about, and everything.
What year did it open?
2012. I'm going to get this wrong now. It's our 13th birthday this year, so I should know.
11 or 12.
2012. Yeah. So it was that sort of year when social media really exploded. Facebook had already been about, obviously, and suddenly everyone wants to get on Instagram. So we came really popular on social media very, very quickly, and which was very different for Ibiza, because Ibiza's been very old school and very organic, all the clubs and stuff like that. So for us to suddenly come this new venue and suddenly plastered all over social media with celebrities and this and that, whatever, it came a new thing. But someone the other day, who's a very well-known photographer and videographer on the island, came to me, he said, Tone, shall I tell you a very interesting statistic? He said, I go around every single club on this island doing shoots and stuff. He said, which club on the whole island do you think has the least cameras on the dance floor? Because there's this big thing about clubs now, isn't there? Everyone's
just there, not enjoying or not dancing.
Enjoying the vibe and everything like that. And various venues are banning phones and stuff like that. I So I started naming a few, and he went, "No." I said, "Where?" And he said, "Here, O Beach." I said, "You're joking, aren't you?" I said, "It's so known for being so social media led and everything." He said, "No." He said, "You go on the stage today and have a look." So I did. On Friday night, I went up on the stage. There I was. I looked out at the dance floor. Not one person was holding their phone up on the dance floor. Everyone was vibing to the tunes. Everyone was dancing. Everyone had a drink in their hand. Yeah. And that was a big thing for me. I thought, wow, amazing. There's so many clubs you go to now, they've all got their phones up because they're all looking at the superstar DJ. Yeah. They've all got, because every club's got a big name DJ on. So they're all filming them. A lot of the places are so expensive, people can't afford drinks. Yeah. So they haven't got drinks in their hand. And they're like, I turned to my mate and I said, "God, you're right." Yeah. He said, "Yeah, it's a proper vibe on the dance floor here. People aren't interested in who's playing. Yeah. They're genuinely interested in the music, getting drunk and having a party."
How many parties did you throw a year at Ocean Beach Club? Beach Club?
100, I think 180.
180 back to back. Bang, 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 bang. What are the biggest nights, biggest days for you?
Opening, birthday and closing.
Yep.
Without a shadow
Which is what date?
Usually around about the 1st of May sort of time. Then usually the middle of June is our birthday. Then the middle of October. Yeah. So those are our 3 biggest parties. Then, God, our own in-house opening a pool party is great. But we work with lots of promoters. We work with the Spray Party. We work with Sin Sundays, Boat Club, Aces, Paravana, Jet Your Body. We try and use lots of different promoters from around the UK as well. We think it's important, you know, because I was a young promoter, to bring other promoter in, give it as a breeding ground, bringing their friends around.
Because it's interesting, the island's changed, hasn't it? You think about, you used to have the promoter, then the promoter got cut out and the DJs have got the name, their nights now. Roger Sanchez on a Friday, on a Thursday. It's great you're keeping the promoters alive. It really is.
Well, I think, me being an old school promoter, I think it's really important. And I think that's where the new generation come from as well. They all bring through their DJs who you haven't heard about and stuff. They're getting it out to their market and things like that. So it's, I like it. I love that concept.
What celebrities have you had partying at Ocean Beach?
People are always fascinated about that, aren't they? But, which celebrities? Obviously, the biggest ones that's ever been there really is Ed Sheeran, bar none. You know, and it's nice that me and Ed have become sort of quite friendly over the last few years. And when he sort of called me up and said, "Oh, they want to come out there," then when he turned up and he said, "Oh, can I sing?" and everything like that.
Did he sing on the day?
Yeah, he sung. Brilliant. He jumped on stage, and we were both paralytic, really paralytic. He couldn't even get the words out, and he was crowd surfing. I think for that day was probably the proudest moment, you know, to have like a global icon like Ed in the club, you know, genuinely having a good time, having all these mates who he'd grown up with. Because that's what I love about Ed. All the people he's got round.
He's real, isn't he?
He's real. He hasn't changed. He's got his mates from school all working for him. They was all in there that day. We all got smashed together. And it was just a proper old school day, you know. And I just stood back and was like, wow. And I was also pleased because we didn't advertise it. There was no advertising. He just turned up sort of, I knew he was coming, but I hadn't told anyone he was coming apart from a few close mates. And so everyone who had actually come in the club that day got a free Ed Sheeran concert, right? And for nothing. And to actually be up close and personal, not just on a big stage like you would see him, literally in touching distance. It was amazing.
What was the vibe like when Conor McGregor turned up?
Incredible. I've actually, even though Ed caused a stir, the first time Conor turned up, that was on the back of his fight with, was it Mayweather? Yeah. Mayweather. And it was literally a few days. He hadn't been seen since that fight. And then the management called us up and I said, "Oh, do you want me to bring him around the back?" They said, "Tony, you don't know Conor. He wants to come through the front door." And he literally, it was like him doing the ring walk.
With the old...
And that was a terrible Irish accent, by the way. That's the amount of Irish people I knock about with, and that was my attempt. Sorry, Ireland. And he walked straight through the front door like he just won the world title. And he was really, really bad. And it was just, again, an amazing day. And that day, we had one of our biggest ever spenders in there, and he wanted a photo with Conor. And I said, "Well, you know, everyone wants a photo of Conor. I probably can't get you it." He said, "How about if I buy him the biggest and the most expensive bottle of champagne in the club?" I said, "That should swing it." You're twisting me up. You're twisting me up. Come on then. Well, so I'm not going to say how much and what it was and everything.
Roughly how much did he drop that day?
Oh, he dropped...
North of what?
I don't like talking about money because it's quite vulgar, but it was a special occasion. He dropped well north of 50.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Did he get his photo? I take it.
He got his photo. Gave him the bottle. Connor sprayed it, and it was just the kid was buzzing.
Amazing.
Really.
So you've had some journey, right, with Ocean Beach Club. We know what went on Ocean Beach Club had to turn into O Beach Club.
Yeah.
Just touch on that. Touch on that quickly.
That was a very tough time.
Yeah.
Again, probably through my own business naivety at the time, where we thought we was one of the creators of Ocean Club Marbella in a way, even though we didn't have any ownership, and I didn't understand trademarks, I didn't understand IP addresses and things like that, and all the legal jargon that you need. So we just said, okay, we're going to open up our own Ocean Club in Ibiza and call it Ocean Club Ibiza. So that's what we done. And for the first few years, then of course we done very well. After 3 years, it came bigger than Ocean Club Marbella. Of course, we get a trademark dispute letter from the guys in Marbella. We tried to come to an agreement over a period of time, over a couple of years. Really, we thought about even becoming partners with them and everything. I approached them on numerous occasions. We thought, okay, it'd probably be good for their business if we sort of joined forces, and we brought everything that we're doing in Ibiza down to Marbella. They really didn't want to know. They weren't interested at all. I think they were obviously pissed off of what we'd done, rightly so. And like I say, stupid naivety, dodge of not knowing business well enough and what you can.
How did you settle it? How easy was it to settle? Did you go to the last minute? You go, okay, we'll change the name.
Even on the last hour,
yeah,
there was a financial package involved potentially to sort of buy the name and everything like that. They just didn't want to play ball. So the only way we could do it was by changing the name.
And did you find it a problem changing the name? How many years were you trading for? We had to change from Ocean Beach to O Beach.
I think it was about 3 or 4.
Okay. Was that a problem for you?
Well, it wasn't, because there was a dispute going on because we always had Ibiza in the name.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, a country doesn't necessarily mean the difference of a trademark, changing a trademark name. You have to either have a different classification, because trademarks come in various different classification forms. But it was all about actually passing off, your casters passing off as another brand. That even though our colours were different, our font was different and things like that.
Were you gutted to change the name?
I was gutted because when we actually done our research, there was probably about 30 or 40 other ocean clubs around the world.
But they were just on your case.
Whether it was in Jamaica or at a hotel or something like that. But they were just after us because we were the ones who probably had the biggest...
or they might have thought you were taking a few liberties by going, bam, we're going to use this. Your naivety...
That was never the intent. That was never the intention. It was, and what we created in Marbella was our trade.
Yeah. Good for you, man.
It was just... But
I don't think it changed anyone's perception of it at all.
No.
When it went Ocean Beach to O Beach, I reckon it helped it.
It helped it.
Yeah, I agree.
It helped. It got more people talking about it. And when we changed from Ocean Beach to O Beach, right, it literally, that year was one of the best years we had after that. So it was, reinventing the brand in a way. And everyone still calls it O Beach, Ocean Beach. I all of us, we switched between Ocean O, because so many people call it different things. Legally it is O Beach.
What's your relationship like with Tony Pike?
Loved Tone.
Legend.
Loved Tone. Proper legend. Another sort of inspiration to me, Tony. When I used to come out here on holiday, I used to always go and see him and everything. His words of wisdom and everything. He was just very, very similar mentality. He just loved the party, loved the birds, loved me getting off his rocker and having a good crack and everything. So and it was great, and especially in Tony's later years, where Tony had slowed down a bit and everything, and obviously I spent a lot more time with him then, and it just, he loved coming to Ocean. He was so proud of us and everything. Amazing. Which was a fantastic thing, and it was really, really beautiful. One of my most touching experiences was literally not long before Tony died. Yeah. I brought him to Ocean. I sort of realised that he was going to be going into the people's home pretty soon and everything, and I knew it was his last time. And me and the actor Tamer Hassan took him to Ocean the day, come on my table. He was still there, get the birds, Tone, get the birds and all that. That'll lead into another funny story in a minute, right? So he's got all the hostesses, all the girls around the table. He's still half touching them up and everything like that. Not in a dirty old man way, just because... he just loved girls' company, just loved female company. And anyway, when we went to walk him out at the end of the day, it makes me a bit emotional actually. The whole club got up and started clapping. They started clapping. Everyone started applauding him. And it was just, God, even now I well up a little bit and get goose pimples. It was just amazing. And his daughter, Corinna, had worked for me for about 5 years at the time. And she was there waiting for him, cuddling him. And it was just, everyone sort of knew who Tony was. And it was just his legendary status, not just amongst the Spanish and the Brits.
Everywhere,
and everyone knew Tone and everything. And everyone knew he was on his last legs. Yeah. And I remember when we took him into the old people's home up the road and everything, like the sort of the last place you go of your days of life. He was like, Tone, can you get me a bird up here? Can you get me a Viagra and everything like that? So I did. Me and Tam, we took him some Viagras and a bird up there. Yeah, up there we did. We got him a lady of the night, should we say, right? And the next day when we went up there, the people from the home was like, "Don't you ever bring them girls in here again." I was going, "What's the matter?" He said, "This girl's been screaming the old people down though," because he was a bit of a well-endowed boy, was Tone.
How old was he roughly when he passed?
He was that was a few months before he died. He was about 83, I think.
Proper good innings,
something like proper good innings.
Amazing.
Proper good innings. Proper pioneer for the island and everything of what he done and everything for the hedonistic lifestyle. Yeah. I don't think Tony would have liked this modern day Ibiza too much. Like a lot of the old school people, they don't. It's a very changing island, isn't it, from what it was?
Very, very, very. As everything's gone on, like you've done fantastic well with Ocean Beach Club. That's giving you the pound note to go and do other stuff. What other businesses have you set up over the years?
Well, next door we've got our family beach club, Bamboo Coo.
That's done fantastically.
Yeah, it's done very well.
Yeah,
it's very different. It's very.
I like the layout. I like the vibe in there. It's completely different.
It's nice.
How do you explain it?
It's really. It's a very hard business to make a good financial business out of, because obviously when you're dealing with families, it's lovely to do and everything. It's not like the spend per head, because people aren't buying the bottles and everything. But it's just a lovely business to have for the town, for the community, for the islands, because there's not too many sort of amazing kids places out here.
How would you explain it though? Like when you go in there, because it looks fantastic. How would you explain to the listener out there?
How would you explain Bamboo Coo? A family vibe.
Yeah.
A family vibe where people can go in there, where kids can act like adults.
All on the sand.
And adults can act like kids.
Yeah.
Really. That's how I sort of see it. We've got that. We've got our Wiki Woo boutique hotel.
Yeah.
One of the most Instagrammable hotels. That's become very famous the last few years. We've got Cheeky One.
Cracking name.
Great name.
Cracking name. Did you get any ag about that name at all?
No.
No. When you come up with that, that's funny.
I come up with that. I'm quite lucky. I come up there. The guys give me free reign to come up with names for the businesses.
So it's Cheeky One.
Cheeky One. Let's have a
Chinese.
Let's have a Cheeky One. I was laughing myself when I actually came up with that name. We got Skinny Kitchen. We got Faith, our concierge business. Yeah. That's really exploded. Just opened a new business this year, Eat Me, as well. So we got our fingers. We've got a building company, All Solutions. We got our fingers in quite a lot of pies, really.
You've done so well.
Properties.
Yeah.
Properties, that sort of, after COVID, we really thought we should need to diverse quite a bit. But O Beach is really the catalyst.
That's the biggie, isn't it?
That's the catalyst.
On O Beach, talk us about O Beach Dubai.
Yes.
What's opening on mid-October?
The 24th of October.
Yep.
Been very, very stressful. Been a long time coming, after a lot of trials and tribulations on that journey since 2019, when we first actually got a place out there. And now we've got this site. And it's funny, this site only literally came about last August 23. So to actually get it open October 24 is no mean feat. It's really, that's been very, very difficult, very, very complex, very, very deep pockets, as you can imagine.
How much you got to throw at that one?
A lot.
North for 5 mil? Yeah.
A lot more north for 5 mil.
Is it?
Yeah, business works different in Dubai, how they sort of do from what they charge you in rents and percentages and things like that. They've got a very sort of unique business model in that sense. But Dubai is expensive, it is expensive, but which city in the world isn't expensive? But we're literally starting from the ground up on that one. There's no infrastructure there from everything. So building a brand new nightclub, beach club, but also making it a little bit more high end, I'd say, in the quality of finish in Dubai as well. I think we've learned from our mistakes of how the Ibiza one is, and how we've tried to replicate a few little changes. One thing is though, it's smaller. Everyone's seen all the graphics, all the images and everything like that. It is smaller.
In terms of what's capacity here? 2,000? Roughly?
Round about.
Okay. And what sort of capacity are you talking in Dubai?
probably around about 1,200, 1,500.
Okay, lovely.
So it's quite a lot smaller, but we know the business model's not the same. We haven't gone out there with the mindset and think we know it all and everything like that. It's very different. Dubai is a very weekend place. It's not so tourist led. It's more like local community and expats and foreign nationals who live out there, really. And obviously we'll still get an element of tourism.
But isn't there like 1 million Emiratis out there? There's like 5 million expats. Yeah, something like that.
It's massive.
I think it'd do really well.
I think it will.
I think it will.
We've got every confidence in it doing well and everything. And we're still going to program it pretty much the same as we program Ibiza. And it's going to be a challenge. No, Dodge, you've always got to challenge yourself.
Yeah, mate, 100%.
And some people say, "Oh, why do you keep opening new businesses? Why aren't you being greedy? Haven't you got enough?" It's not. It's the fun.
It's the buzz, isn't it?
It's not a question of that.
Yeah.
It's about that. It's about the buzz and the
creative mind. Can you do?
Can you do that? You know, other people have opened up multiple brands around the world. Why shouldn't we in a beach club? You know.
But what perfect timing though? You're talking 5 months here, and then straight away you're going to go and live in Dubai. Or are you going to bounce back and forward?
I just rented a place for 6 months out there. So we're going to do that. We're taking a task force of a core team from here over there to sort of get it up and running, as well as employing a lot of people. So we're doing all our programming in 3 months. See, with Ibiza, we know actually from April how the season goes, the peaks and troughs of that. Dubai, it's a little bit new to us, obviously with the days of the week not being so busy and things like that. So we're really, really excited about it.
True. Absolutely love this, mate.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Mate, fantastic. What an eventful life. I know there's shitload more we could be talking about.
Yeah.
What an eventful life, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Should be proud.
Thank you. Well, you only get one. You got to live it, haven't you?
Live it to the max, mate.
You know, so many people don't enjoy it, don't live it. You got to just go out there, move forward, never look back.
Absolutely.
Have a good crack.
Quality, mate.
You know?
You're a good man.
Thanks, mate.
Nice one,
appreciate it, pal. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Can you do us a favour and subscribe to the channel? It's totally free and it massively helps our show. Cheers guys.